Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with Google Classroom. So you'll want to go to Google and log in as using your board credentials. And once that is done, you can click on the waffle here to the top right to access your Google Apps. Then click on Classroom. It'll bring you to a page that'll look like this. And in my case, I have one active classroom. So you see this class here. Um, to begin creating your own class, you would click on this plus sign here. It says create and join a class, and I will do that in just a moment, but I want to show you what an active classroom looks like. So once I've done that, then I'll show you how to create one yourself. So click there, and it brings you to the Stream tab, and in the Stream tab, you can post announcements for your class. You can also see to the left here, it is empty right now, but if I had anything due, an assignment, a test, a quiz, anything that has a deadline attached to it, it would appear here for students to see, so that it's the first thing they see when they log on to your class. You can post, like I said, something to share with the class by clicking here. If I had other classes that I wanted to share the same message to, I could also post those all. If I clicked on this, it's grayed out because I only have one class, but I could post it to other classes as well. I can also select other students. Rather, I can post messages for individual students if I'd like. By clicking here on this drop-down menu, and you can select a student. Now here are all their names. I'm going to have this blurred out before I post, but here's where you can select an individual student. It is defaulted for all students. I haven't found the need yet to post a message specifically for a student. It's always just been to the whole class, but you have that option. Then in this box over here, make sure you've clicked on it. You can type your message. So this is where you would type a message to your class. And once you're finished typing, you can click post, and you're all set. You can also add attachments to your message. It can be an attached file from Google Drive, a link, an actual file, a YouTube link as well. So you can post a variety of things. Now, to that post, you do have some other options. You can schedule the post. So say you're working later at night and you don't want it to go through whenever it is you're working, you want it to pop up the next day at a certain time, you can do that as well. You can also save it as a draft and get back to it later. So a few options for posting. Once you're done, you can click post, and it'll appear in your stream for students to see. I'm going to cancel this since I was just showing you how to do that. In the next tab, it's classwork. Now, classwork is where all of your class resources would be found. Now, you can organize this a few different ways. You can post different things. I do use classwork. As you can see, I have my introductory material here, the course syllabus, a couple of surveys I'd like to have them students complete, review assignments, different things like that. That's all under the introductory topic or the introductory section. You can think of these, when I say topic, you can think of it as folders to organize your resources. So here's my introduction to the course folder, or topic. Here's my safety contract and lab resources topic or folder, and some additional materials to get the class started. What I use, and it's only because I'm used to using it, but I would just get this out of the way. I'll explain what that is later. Well, I'll show you later. I'm just used to using class dry folder. I like how that's organized a bit more, although you can essentially do the same thing here. Before I click on that, though, I do want to show you how to get started with classwork. So in classwork, to add resources, you click on the plus sign here, create, and you can post an assignment, a quiz, a question that would lead to a discussion for a class. You can post material as well, files, PDF, Word document, and you can organize it by topic. So I'll show you how to do that. Click on topic, and I will type demo topic. Now this could be unit 1, unit 2, whatever those might be, and you can organize your class resources by topic. So I'm going to add this, and in just a moment you'll see that my demo topic has appeared. It will be at the bottom. There is currently nothing there, but I could organize resources, my resources that I post by clicking on create. I can click on an assignment. So I'll just briefly show you what that would look like. Okay, I'm going to give my assignment a title. So demo assignment. I can give it types of instructions here in this field. I can add a file to it, an attachment. You can add a rubric as well, a deadline, of course. um, Different grade categories. I'll show you that. That's really good to use. I'll show you how to access that, how to change that. But you can add the value of that by points and by grade category. In my case, I would use, and I'm going to change it later, but you would use your knowledge, communication, application, thinking, that sort of thing. And once you're finished, you can click on assign. But before I do that, I want to show you under topic, if it pertained to the unit demo topic, I can click here, right? Click on topic on the drop-down menu, and I can organize it by unit or by topic. So it would, if I click on demo topic, whatever assignment I post would fall under that unit or that topic. You can then click on assign, or you can schedule it for later, like streams did. Okay, I'm going to X this. I'm not actually going to post an assignment, but here we go. Our demo topic is there. Now, what I use, another option you have, it essentially again does the same thing. I prefer how it's organized. You can add a class drive folder. So what this does is I'll click on it now. It attaches a Google Drive folder. It links it to your classroom. Here I have everything laid out in a way that I'm used to, that I prefer, but it's entirely up to you. By unit, so unit 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You can click on those folders. I have subfolders. My lessons are all organized here. This is just by preference. You don't have to attach a Google Drive folder to it, but this is just an option you have. What you do want to make sure, though, and this part does involve a bit more work, is even though a student might be added to your Google Classroom, I'm going to click on the back to my class. So even though your students might have access to your classroom, they don't have access to your class drive folder. So what you'll need to do is you have to click on this icon here, and you'll have to add students. So you search for students here. I'll blur out any personal information. I'm just going to type, let's say Smith, right? So some names pop up. For some reason, it's defaulted to edit. Now, I learned this the hard way. You want to click on this drop-down menu, and you want to make students only have access to view. Otherwise, they can inadvertently or not modify your drive, your files. So once you've added students, click send, and they'll be notified that they now have access to this drive. I'm going to cancel this. I'm not actually going to add anyone to it. Done. So you'll have to add students to your drive. You'll see this is generating a list of my students. I'll blur this out later. It's taking a little bit of time. Well, I'll get back to that, but you would see a list of students that pop up. So you have to add them both to your drive and to your classroom. So let's add them now to your class. Now we've gone over stream and classwork. You can go to people, and under people are the students that you have added to your class. Now you can add students manually. I'd like to do that. That's my preference. I can control which students get added. I can also control to make sure that they are added, in fact, and I haven't missed anyone. So to do that, all you do is click on this plus button just off to the right next to students. Click here. And here's where you would type a student name or even a student ID number. I like to go by student ID numbers. That way you don't get mixed up with a student that has the same name that's in a different class or in a different school. And their names automatically pop up, and you can add them. You don't have to worry about permissions. They're added as students with only student access. So cancel that. You can also add teachers. So if you're collaborating with a teacher for the same course, let's say, you don't have to make 2 different classrooms. You can just make one. You can manage it all together. Another great tool I've seen used, I haven't used it myself, is you can actually invite parents or guardians. Now, this would mean that their emails, you would need their emails, and you can invite them to the class as well. Okay, so this is how you control who is in your classroom. The list is here. You can delete students, add more students later on as students get added or dropped. This is where you control all that. Last tab, grades. Now I haven't had assignments. I have had assignments, but they've only been not true assignments, just forms or surveys for them to fill out. That hasn't required that they submit anything. So you might see missing all these missings. They're not really assignments, not really missing, but this is where you could keep track of student assignments, and you could generate an actual grade for them. I haven't assigned any grades yet, so you'll see no grades here. Okay, but this is think of this as your mark book for Google. Um, Last thing is this cog. So click on that, and you get to control the details of your class. So here's where I have named my class. You can add a description. I can change this later on. um, Under General, this is where you have options like the class code. This is my class code. If you wanted to perhaps save some time and just share a class code, in my case it's S Z G Q, and I believe it is case sensitive, so watch out for that. I can copy this class code and share it with my students. All they would do is they would keep that class code to join, and I'll show you how to do that in just a bit when I go to creating a classroom. Um, Under Stream, I can control if students can post or not post. So depending on your comfort level or your class, you can control whether students can post or perhaps students can only comment, or maybe you want to have complete control and you don't want students to post or comment on anything that's in the stream. You can control that as well. What other thing is useful? Another thing that's useful here is I mentioned grading. So grading gives you a few options. You can grade by categories. So here I've already set up my 4 different categories and their weightings. So I can grade by category or simply by total points. Each category has a certain percentage value, so I've already placed those. I can add different categories depending on what your needs are. But this is how you can control grading and attach weightings to it too, which is a great feature. Right, so that is it, I believe, for the basics of Google Classroom. Just to review, and just to give you an overview of all that. Now I'm going to go back and show you how to create one for yourself. Right, so let's just go back to Google. Okay, so signed in. Click on the waffle, click on Classroom, and then go to the plus button, which is create or join a class. Now this is where students would go. Remember that code I told you about, that class code? If you gave students a class code for a classroom that you've made, this is where, after they click here, if they click on join class, this is where they would type that code and they would then join a class. You'd have to accept or allow them to enter that class, but at least it might save you some time in having to manually enter all of them. Again, it's up to you. I personally prefer to manually enter all of them, but this is just another way. Okay, I'm going to cancel that, and we're going to create a class. So click on the plus sign, click create class. I can give it a name. Let's call it demo class. Section number perhaps, what subject, you can give it a room number if you'd like, and all these things you can change. The only thing that is required is just the title or the class name. Then click on create, and you are, in just a moment, finished. That's it, it's done. You've created your class. Here's where you could now post a message for your class. Look, it's automatically generated a class code for you. If you have this displayed somewhere in your classroom, so students can see, if you click on display, it becomes larger so for students to copy down and to see your class code better. Again, you can modify, personalize this picture. I can select a color theme by clicking on select theme. I can upload a photo. It can be a stock image or something that you have saved on your computer just to make it a bit more personal. Again, classwork is here. Currently nothing is here. You'd have to organize that. You can add students, right, by clicking on the plus sign there. And look, this gives you a bit of instruction here, or you can give them your class code and they can add themselves. Grades, nothing here yet. You haven't made any assignments, there haven't been any submissions, but this is where you would see your students' grades. And your cog, of course, to access and access controls for your classroom. That is essentially it for the basics of using Google Classroom. If there is anything else, leave a comment, and you can let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll try to make some more of these videos.